Season highlights. Director Paris Barclay has said that David Milch wanted the opening episodes this year to capture what it's like when someone you love is in the hospital and you know they're not going to make it. The dread that comes with every phone call. The guilt of wanting them to fight even though they need to just let go. Episodic television has never captured that feeling so perfectly. And rarely does the show feel like it's giving in to cheap sentiment. It feels like someone you know is dying. Jimmy Smits, who's always owned this role, delivers his strongest performance as he makes his exit. Some of the greatest moments from this run include Bobby's mental conversations with his childhood mentor, who assures him that he's going to be reunited with his parents, and the baby he lost with Diane, intercut with the feeble Bobby languishing on his hospital bed, increasingly unable to communicate verbally. Bobby knows he isn't going to live, but he doesn't want Diane to think that he simply gave up on her. Diane's struggle to, as their young doctor put it, be humble and accept that she's going to have to let go, is also powerful. Sipowicz is around, but rarely in the hospital scenes, struggling to deal with his grief while working, and making everyone around him miserable. Some of these scenes are overplayed, but the way Sipowicz isn't shoehorned into Bobby and Diane's final moments together is admirable. Sipowicz sees Bobby in the hospital probably as often as a cop in real life would visit his partner during the day. It's also worth noting that the cases this year seem more engaging than the previous seasons, and there aren't nearly as many formulaic plots this time around. Quite a few of the cases this year have genuine surprises and poignant moments with the suspects that you wouldn't expect. We also have far fewer B-plots that are plainly inserted as comedic relief. It's a season about the characters, and there isn't nearly as much time for screwing around. Season lowlights. Not all of Bobby's hospital dream sequences work. The actor playing his mentor Patsy is downright cartoonish at times, which might have been a deliberate choice, since these are dreams. But Patsy's delivery can be distracting. The audience is also expected to believe that on his deathbed, Bobby's going to have visions of his co-workers posing like the X-Men on his childhood rooftop. Bobby's barely had one scene apiece with Martinez and Medavoy over the past 4 years. Is he really going to spend his final moments on this mortal plane thinking about those guys? And speaking of Martinez and Medavoy, what a wasted season for both characters. Lieutenant Fancy is actually given a decent amount of work this year, but poor old Martinez and Medavoy can't catch a break the entire season. The weepy displays of emotion we see this year take some getting used to. While not advocating for the characters to be robots, it's worth remembering that the show in the past has honestly portrayed how men, especially men of a certain generation, deal with their emotions. The response, usually, is not to cry, especially if anyone else is around. John Kelly thinking about his father while speaking to his ex-wife's tenants meeting, then stopping himself and discreetly wiping away the lone tear, spoke just as loudly as the histrionics we experienced this year. Ironically, the Season 6 finale goes starkly against the direction established earlier this year, by presenting Sipowicz as so horrified at the prospect of losing Sylvia that he cuts himself off from all emotion. The puzzled reaction of his co-workers, who aren't sure if Sipowicz is back to drinking or possibly even contemplating suicide, to the anesthetized Sipowicz is perhaps the most striking moment of the finale. The eventual denouement, such as it is touching in its own way, but cannot rival Dennis Franz's performance during the closing of Season 3, when he faced the other greatest loss of his life. Sipowicz says, "So that's what 14-year-olds are wearing now?" Sipowicz's initial reaction to his new, much younger partner.